Ladies and gents, welcome back. It started as a day, then turned into a week, then a month, and now it's Pride season. Yes, you can look forward to it not ending in July, but moving forward with all kinds of indecent exposure. And I'm really focusing on that aspect of this. And now I have a lot of gay people in the comments saying this does not reflect me or anything about what I am about. And I'm not pointing the finger at gay people individually. I'm pointing the finger at the propensity to indecently expose yourself in front of the public and also to children. And that's what I'm highlighting here. Let's make no mistake about it. I have nothing against people who happen to be gay. So that's put that one to rest. No, what's happening here is all kinds of scenes on the street where we have children present, and whoa, I'm just gonna pause that there. We're not gonna go any further with that clip, but we can see, again, more clips like this ongoing throughout Canada, throughout Western society, as this type of debauchery has seemed to be going forward. Now, I've been putting this out, showcasing this on the channel. For those that don't know, I also have an Instagram, so go check that out if you like sharing things on Meta's platforms, say Facebook or whatnot. I have videos. I put the shorts that I put on the YouTube channel. I also publish them there so that people can share them. Apparently, this one got shared quite a lot, to the point of 2.2 million views. Went viral just yesterday. And that's a video that I also published on the YouTube channel that hasn't seen as much traffic just yet, but we'll see how that goes. And that's the we're coming for your children, and we've discussed this as well on the channel. Short excerpt from this. Still Pride Month, and now paraders are chanting, "We're coming for your children." Of course, yes, that was a scene there, but also Prime Minister Trudeau, and this is a video that I put out this morning, talking about Pride and the whole mix of things, but how it, and me showcasing in this video, how a lot of this is indecent exposure, and I'm going to get into the criminal aspects of this just after we show this, but this is the alphabet soup is not for the kids.
You should be able to be who you are and love whom you love, free from discrimination and hate, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's what we've been focused on since 2015, making sure Canada is a place where you can be open and be who you are, and where you're safe to love whom you love.
Parents across Canada, yeah. So you can love who you want to love. It's not about that, and this isn't the this isn't what people are objecting to. Now, in the criminal code, under disorderly conduct, if you look in the Canadian criminal code here, and you scroll down, you'll get to indecent acts. And this is where the crux of the argument is here. And this is where I've been encouraging people. Don't go to these events. Don't go and get in fights with people and get in arguments and give the press exactly what they're looking for, because they're looking for the division and hate going back and forth at these groups. No, if you have an issue and you think somebody's breaking the law, call the police. If that's what you want to do, if you want to call the police and report an incident of a crime in progress, I'd say go along that route. Don't create vigilante justice is not what we're looking for here. But under indecent acts, it says under section 73(1), everyone who willfully does an indecent act in a public place in the presence of one or more persons, or in any place with the intent to insult or offend any person, A, is guilty of an indictable offense that is liable to imprisonment for a term no more than 2 years, or is guilty of an offense punishable on summary conviction. Now, exposure, when you're exposing yourself to individuals or people who are underage in these cases, any person in any place for a sexual purpose exposes his or her genital organs or to a person who is under the age of 16. A, is guilty of an indictable offense and is liable to imprisonment for a term of not more than 2 years and to a minimum punishment of imprisonment for a term of 90 days. Minimum. of 90 days in jail for this. Or B, is guilty of an offense punishable on summary conviction and is liable to imprisonment for a term of not more than 6 months and a minimum punishment of imprisonment for a term of 30 days. So it looks like if you indecently expose yourself for a sexual purpose in Canada, the criminal code is pretty clear here that you're going to get a minimum of 30 days in jail for that. And it has to be of a sexual nature. Now, we're going to go into nudity after this, but I wanted to show this video. And this is Rob Primo on Twitter. And he called the cops and reported this crime and what he saw as a crime and wanted to report it to see if there was any sort of punishment or penalty for these crimes. Obviously, the criminal code clearly states that there is. Now, the question is it being enforced? And are the laws of our land being enforced in Canada?
Ask a police officer a question.
Sure, one moment.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Hi there. I was just looking to ask an officer a question, and then I got forwarded to you. Is there... I just want to make sure I'm not working outside of any laws or anything like that. If you want to be out in the street, you have to be fully clothed, and you can't be naked or anything like that, right?
Well, I mean, there are naked people running around on the street.
Okay. But is that against the law?
That would be some mental health issues.
Oh, okay. I agree with you on that one. I'm having a hard time. Yesterday I seen a bunch of people naked in front of children and police officers, seeing men with their penis out in front of kids, and I'm just wondering if that's acceptable.
Was that part of the Pride, you mean? Was that on the weekend?
Yeah, it was at the Pride Parade.
Yeah. So that's always the issue then each year. Yeah.
What's the issue with that? Sorry.
Well, I mean, that happens every year.
Oh, so it's kind of like it's okay for when it's at the Pride Parade, but not in other situations, obviously?
Exactly. I would say so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Bye now.
By now. So this is a case where the criminal code is not being adhered to in this, or it's being interpreted in a different way. Now, the criminal code, as I pointed out here, is very, very explicit and is very clear that you're not supposed to do that. You're not allowed to do that, especially in front of children, and it carries a pretty hefty criminal penalty if indicted for that type of offense. Now, selective prosecutions and selective enforcement of these laws may be a case here. Now, this is why I said if people wanted to take protest to these acts, the best way to go about this is to protest the people who are meant to be enforcing the criminal code. Now, if they want to change the criminal code, there is a procedure to doing that, and that would be actually going through the legislative process and changing the criminal code. You can't just ignore the law and expect Canadian society to just go along with ignoring laws. You repeal laws that just don't work in our society, and that's how we do things in civil society. Now, getting on to the nudity issue now. Nudity under the same provisions of indecent acts, everyone who, without lawful excuse, and we're going to get into that part, is nude in a public place or is nude and exposed to public view while on private property, whether or not the property is his own, is guilty of an offense punishable on summary conviction. Nude, for the purposes of this section, a person is nude who is clad and as to offend against public decency or order. And then it gets into this: consent of the Attorney General. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but what? Somehow there's this lawful excuse, I guess, apparently has something to do with the consent of the Attorney General. No proceeding shall be commenced under this section without the consent of the Attorney General. Well, who's the Attorney General? That's Mr. David Lametti. Yeah, that guy. He's in charge of nudity in our country, apparently under the criminal code. And if you're a lawyer, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Translate this for me and tell me that this is not what I'm thinking. I have no idea what this means. Why David Lametti is in charge of who's allowed to and who's not allowed to be nude in this. But realistically, with all jokes aside, we are talking about indecent acts. We're talking about indecent exposure. And, you know, there could be the argument saying, well, these aren't things that are done in a sexual purpose. Well, the whole point of Pride is about sexuality. And this, if people are exposing themselves in a parade or any sort of event in the purpose of Pride, would have to be of a sexual nature. And this is where I'm going with this as a whole. Now, of course, I want to get everybody else's comments on this thing all together. And of course, lawyers as well. Get in there, get in that comments. If you are a lawyer, say I'm a lawyer in the comments and say this is a more realistic translation of the law as it stands. But as I said before, and as I'll say again, my recommendation is not to go to these events and cause a fuss. But if you believe that a criminal act is being perpetrated, your best recourse would be to call the authorities and file a complaint. If the authorities don't want to go ahead and do their job in this case, ask politicians. Say the law's not being upheld. Is this a case that the laws need to be changed? They need to be updated to reflect the current situation. And why would it be something such as an event like this that is exempt from these laws in this case? Now, I'll leave this one up to you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.